What if I told you that there are countries that won't tax your Social Security or pension withdrawals? And what if I also told you that those same countries also probably have a lower cost of living than where you are now? In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 countries that won't tax your retirement savings. And I'm also going to share with you the visa requirements for each country, the cost of living, and also the downsides that no one talks about. Now, quick disclaimer before we start, I'm not an accountant and this is not tax advice. And if you're a US citizen, then you'll have to file a federal tax return regardless of where you live in the world. So make sure to hire someone who's qualified. I'll link to a company that I use right here. In 10th place, we have the only English-speaking country in Central America. This country has the second largest barrier reef in the world, so if you love snorkeling, diving, or just sitting on a dock and watching pelicans, this place is paradise. What makes Belize so special for retirees is its Qualified Retirement Persons Visa program. So this you can apply for at 45 years of age or older, and you only need about $2,000 per month in recurring retirement income to be able to qualify. Foreign sourced income, including retirement savings, is tax-free in Belize, so that means your 401k, pension, Social Security, all tax-free. The benefits don't stop there though, because QRP holders can also import a car, a boat, and even a light aircraft completely duty-free. Plus, you get a resident card that lets you come and go as you please. For the cost of living, you're looking at about $1,500 to $2,200 per month for a comfortable lifestyle. And since Belize uses the Belize dollar, which is pegged to the US dollar, there's no exchange rates to account for. There are a lot of benefits to retiring in Belize. First, you're right in the middle of Central America, so you're close to the US, close to Canada, close to South America. You've got the English-speaking language, and also it's a beautiful paradise. You've got white sand beaches, crystal clear water, and it's just a very beautiful and relaxing place to retire. Very tight-knit expat community as well. But on the downside, the remoteness of some parts of Belize, especially the more pristine areas, can often be very far from good hospitals or reliable infrastructure. So because of that, a lot of retirees actually fly to other countries such as Mexico to get medical care. Island time is also a real thing here, so if you want to get things done quickly, then that could test your patience. But overall, Belize is for you if you're looking for a laid-back, beautiful place in the same time zones as the US and Canada, and that has an accessible retirement visa. And if you love the idea of a tropical place to retire, but with better healthcare and infrastructure, then the next place on my list might be for you. Up next, we have the land of Pura Vida. This country operates on a territorial tax system, which means that income that's earned outside of the borders is not taxed there, and that includes your pension, Social Security, and 401k distribution. This country also has one of the best retirement programs in the world. It's called the Costa Rica Pensionado Visa that doesn't have a minimum age as long as you're 18 or older, and you can qualify with as little as $1,000 per month in retirement income. Unlike Belize, Costa Rica is known for its quality healthcare system, which ranks above the United States according to the World Health Organization. The public healthcare system, called the Caja, costs just 9 to 11% of your reported income per month. The cost of living in Costa Rica is about $2,000 to $3,000 per month for a single person or a couple coming from outside of the country, depending on your housing costs. Popular spots to live here include the Central Valley towns of Atenas and Escazú, the Pacific beach town of Tamarindo, and the Caribbean side of Puerto Viejo. Now, Costa Rica has a lot to offer. It's a place that I lived for many years, but along with the beautiful scenery and also no taxes on foreign income and the low threshold for getting a visa there also are some downsides. So one of them is that although you might not have taxes on your foreign income, the cost of living can be really high there, especially because of import taxes. And every time I go to Costa Rica, the locals are always complaining about how expensive things are getting, and it seems like a pattern with no end in sight. You also have a lot of crime in Costa Rica. This is very widespread throughout the country, so although the government doesn't have a national military and it's invested a lot of money into education and other types of priorities, there is still crime there. It's not the safest place to live in the world, but at least 100,000 US citizens are living there at the moment. Costa Rica could be for you if you're an eco-conscious retiree, nature lover, and anyone who wants access to world-class healthcare along with a strong sense of community. But if you want to live in Latin America, somewhere with a similar climate to Costa Rica but a much lower cost of living, the next place on my list could be for you. Paraguay is among the most affordable countries in South America. A couple can live here on as little as $1,000 to $1,500 per month. Rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in the capital city of Asunción is around $400 to $600 per month. Now, Paraguay doesn't have a specific retirement visa, but they do have a temporary resident option that's quite accessible to people of all ages with income coming from various sources. So that is a really popular avenue for being able to move to Paraguay. And then after a few years, you can apply for permanent residency. So one of my clients from Canada lives there and he really enjoys it there. So it could be for you if you are looking for a small, tight-knit expat community, a low cost of living if you're on a fixed pension, and if you like to eat out. So my client Dave, he likes to go out to steakhouses, drink wine. So if that kind of foodie lifestyle, very similar to Argentina, appeals to you, then Paraguay could be for you. But on the downside, it does have a small expat community, so if that's not what you're looking for, then Costa Rica might be more your speed. It's also a landlocked country, so you don't have the beaches and the coastline like other countries in Latin America. And also outside of Asunción, you really do need to speak Spanish. So if you want to start learning now, you can get a discount and download Rosetta Stone. I will link to that here and also drop a link below. Paraguay could be for you, however, if you're an ultra budget conscious retiree who speaks a little bit of Spanish and wants a truly off the beaten path retirement. The next place on my list, however, has a very similar cost of living compared to Paraguay. However, English is an official language. This country also only taxes income earned within the country, and their retirement visa is one of the most generous in the world. The Philippines Special Resident Retirees Visa lets you in starting at age 35 with a required deposit of $10,000 to $50,000 depending on your age and the program you choose. With this, you get a resident card, multiple entry privileges, and even a $7,000 import tax exemption on household goods. More than 600,000 Americans live in the Philippines, making it one of the largest U.S. expat communities in Asia. And for the cost of living, we're talking anywhere from less than $1,000 a month to $1,800 per month for a comfortable lifestyle, about 50% lower than the US average. A big advantage to living in the Philippines is, of course, the friendly local people, but also having English as an official language. This makes it a lot easier to deal with bureaucracy, going to government offices, and getting things done compared to other countries such as France or Spain or most of Latin America. But on the downsides, the Philippines is very vulnerable to typhoon season, and a few storms definitely make landfall every year. So if you're going to be living out on a more rural island, then this is a definite concern. Also, the farther you get away from the big cities like Metro Manila, the less modern healthcare and amenities you'll be able to access. So keep that in mind when you're looking for a destination. The Philippines could be for you if you consider yourself an adventurous retiree, an island lover, or anyone who wants a tropical, English-speaking country at low prices. But the next country on our list has very similar cost of living and attributes, and it's known for having some of the best food in the world. This country is home to anywhere from 30,000 to 50,000 US citizens, and it is Thailand, the land of smiles. Now, Thailand's tax situation is a bit more complex than many countries. It kind of has a blended system here with a lot of caveats for foreign sourced income and also retirement income. So the first thing to know is that you will be taxed in Thailand if you are a tax resident there. So that is if you are living there for at least half of the year, or if you have any type of long stay visa permit. Now, there's been a lot of changes to Thailand's tax laws in the past few years. Previously, they did tax foreign income, but only if it was remitted into the country after the year that it was earned. So this created a lot of hula hoops and people remitting income from different years into Thailand. So they've changed that now since 2024, 2025 moving forward. But now Thailand does have a tax treaty with many countries such as the United States. So technically, even if you are on a visa, you're living in Thailand, and you are declaring your foreign sourced income, you might not have to pay taxes on that income if you're already paying taxes on it in another country. So in essence, you won't be double taxed. Thailand also has exemptions on inheritance income, payments from life insurance policies, gifts, and especially those foreign pensions and social security benefits from countries such as the US and Canada. Many people choose to retire in Thailand with a non-immigrant OA visa, which requires you to be at least 50 years old and have at least 800,000 Thai baht in a bank account or earn around 65,000 Thai baht per month. And this visa is renewable annually. On the downside, you can't work with this visa, not even online, and there are a lot of things about living in Thailand that foreigners report a lot of challenges adjusting to. So one of them is the extreme heat. You also have the severe air pollution there, the chaotic traffic of places like Bangkok. And also people comment a lot on what's called the Farang tax or the foreigner tax. And this is kind of a double standard of foreigners paying more for things than locals. But with a low cost of living that can often be well under $2,000 per month, then trade-offs. Not every country is perfect, and it's natural as a foreigner to pay more than locals in a lot of instances, whether it's for housing or trinkets or other sorts of goods. So it just kind of comes with the territory. When it comes to places to live, Chiang Mai is a top pick for budget-conscious retirees, but Bangkok and Phuket also have a lot to offer with more amenities. One of my favorite parts of Thailand is Koh Samui. It's a little bit pricier, also Koh Phangan, and a lot of people are also interested in the island of Koh Tao. Thailand could be for you if you are a food lover, culture seeker, or just want world-class healthcare at low prices and don't mind navigating some red tape. Also in the region, we have a multicultural melting pot and one of the top foodie destinations in the world. English is widely spoken here, and healthcare is excellent and affordable. It's also a top medical tourism destination with world-class private hospitals at a fraction of Western prices. The cost of living is about $1,500 to $2,500 per month here, depending on where you live, and people really appreciate the low monthly expenses, like a $40 electricity bill, and they feel safe here. This country is Malaysia. Malaysia is a really interesting place to retire because they have what's called the Malaysia My Second Home program, and this has different tiers to it depending on your level of investment in the country. It's not the best retirement program. It's actually not only for retirees, and that's just because it's more costly than retirement visas in other countries. But one of the benefits of moving to Malaysia for a while is that foreign sourced income is not taxed. So that goes for your pensions and retirement income as well. The country also doesn't impose a wealth tax, a tax on gifts, or an inheritance tax, which can be very common, especially in European countries. There's a lot to love about retiring in Malaysia. People really like the warm climate, although it can get really hot and humid there. They also like the access to top-notch healthcare, and there's also a very strong expat community there. The MM2H program is also expensive to qualify for, and this is not the best place to go for permanent residency or citizenship. And while the people are known to be very friendly, it is a conservative country with a culture that takes some adjusting to. However, if you're a foodie or someone who wants a modern infrastructure with Southeast Asian prices and you don't mind the heat, then Malaysia could be for you. Now, Malaysia ticks a lot of boxes, but what if I told you that there's a country on this list that you don't even need a visa for the first year that you live there? The next country on our list is located between Europe and Asia. It's one of the oldest winemaking regions in the world. We're talking 8,000 years of wine history, and it has a very unique language and culture to explore. This country also has a territorial tax system that doesn't tax foreign pensions, And a unique thing about it is that citizens of many countries, including the US, UK, European countries, and Canada, can all enter visa-free and stay for up to 365 days. Being able to stay in a foreign country without a visa or residency permit for an entire year is very rare, and Georgia is one of those countries. Georgia is quite popular for digital nomads and also entrepreneurs who are looking to bootstrap their businesses because of the low cost of living, but it can also be a great place to retire. It does get a bit cold in the winter, but you can live here very comfortably on anywhere from $1,500 to $1,800 US per month. A one-bedroom apartment here averages around $500 to $800 per month, which is 69% lower than in the United States. Now, Georgia doesn't have a specific retirement visa, but they do have a long stay visa that's accessible to a lot of different people, and you can go and stay there for the first year visa-free, depending on your country of citizenship. It can be a challenge for some people to adapt to the culture in Georgia if it's much different from where you're from. It also has a smaller expat community, so that could be what you're looking for, but oftentimes when you're moving abroad for the first time, it's nice to have more of an expat bubble with people that you can relate to who have also moved to that foreign country. It also doesn't have the best healthcare and infrastructure compared to a lot of other European countries, and it is a seasonal destination, so this is not somewhere that you'll be sitting on the beach sipping Mai Tais year-round. Georgia could be for you though if you're an adventurous retiree, a wine lover, or someone who wants a unique cultural experience at very low budget prices. Now, although Georgia is a hidden gem in my book, the next country on my list still has that European charm with warmer weather and also uses the euro as its currency. At number 3, we have one of Europe's best kept secrets. This is a place where you can ski the slopes in the morning and swim in the Adriatic Sea in the afternoon. It's also on track to join the European Union, which could increase the value of property investments and the country's passport over time. This country is Montenegro, which boasts some of the lowest tax rates in Europe, from 9 to 15%. Now, although Montenegro is not a flat-out tax-free country when it comes to foreign income like some of the other countries on this list, it does have tax treaties with a lot of countries, at least 40 of them, including the US and Canada. So you can declare your foreign pensions, but you very likely won't have to pay taxes on it. Montenegro is also known for having very low property taxes and also no inheritance tax. So that gives it a lot to offer, along with the very relaxed, laid-back lifestyle, the sunny weather, and also the friendly people. And because Montenegro is so popular for tourism, there's also a lot of people who speak English there, and it's a great jumping off point to be able to visit different countries in the region. Eastern Europe is one of my favorite parts of the world, and if you've watched my channel before, you definitely know that I love the Balkans, and so you're really close to Albania, for example. If you go to Montenegro, make sure to visit Lake Skadar, which is one of the most beautiful lakes I've ever seen. You've got more than 250 species of birds there, and it has some of the most immaculate sunsets I've ever seen as well. But on the downside, Montenegro doesn't have a specific retirement visa. You'll have to invest in a company, get a job, or buy a property instead. The healthcare system is also less developed than many Western European countries, so a lot of expats there rely on private insurance, but that can be quite affordable as well, typically not more than 100 or 200 euro per month. Montenegro could be for you if you love scenery, nature, and you're looking for an Adriatic lifestyle at a fraction of the cost of Croatian or Italian prices. Now, Montenegro is stunning, but the next place on our list also has a lot of nature and beaches to offer, and it's much closer to the US and Canada. For number 2 on our list, we're headed just south of the US border to Mexico. Now, Mexico is an interesting one because they don't have a specific retirement visa, and they typically do tax worldwide income, but there's a lot of caveats for the retirement situation here. So Mexico doesn't tax US Social Security or foreign pensions if you qualify as a non-resident there. So if you live there for less than half the year, your pension income stays tax-free. But even if you do become a tax resident, Mexico's tax treaty with the United States prevents you from being taxed twice. However, you still need to file a tax return there and declare your foreign-sourced income if you are a resident. Now, as I mentioned, Mexico doesn't have a specific retirement visa, but you can get temporary or permanent residence here, and they also have a very generous tourist visa if you want to go and check out the country before you decide to live there long term. The only catch here is that Mexico's residency programs require you to show at least 4 or 5 times more income on paper compared to some nearby countries like Costa Rica and Panama. However, once you get in, you can enjoy a pretty low cost of living. A lot of foreigners report being able to live in Mexico on anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 per month, unless you're living in the most expensive parts of Puerto Vallarta, Playa del Carmen, Tulum. One couple wrote that they're better off living on $2,000 a month in Mexico than they did in California on $5,000. Their rent is $800 for a house with a lake view, and the expat community is incredible. Some places where you can find a very strong community are places like Lake Chapala, San Miguel de Allende, Puerto Vallarta, and Mérida, one of the safest cities in North America. Another perk to living in Mexico is the strong healthcare system and medical tourism industry. A hip replacement here costs $12,000 versus $40,000 in the United States. However, Mexico is a massive country, so your personal safety can vary greatly depending on where you live within the country. Also, it's a place where you really need to speak Spanish to integrate well into the local culture and community. And it is also a place where people live on mañana time. So if you're trying to build a house, run a business, or get a lot of stuff done while you're retired there, then you might find that part a little bit frustrating. But once you settle into the lifestyle in Mexico, a lot of people love it and stay there forever. Now, before we get to the number 1 place on our list today, there are a few other countries that deserve an honorable mention. Cyprus has one of the lowest pension tax rates in the EU at 5%, but the permanent residency program there requires a €300,000 property investment. Italy offers a flat tax regime in the southern part of the country, which applies a 7% income tax rate for up to 10 years. You can retire in Italy under the elective residency program. Bulgaria is popular for its flat 10% income tax on all income, including pensions as well. And it also has tax treaties with many countries. Over in the Caribbean, St. Kitts and Nevis is popular for its citizenship by investment program and also no personal income tax on foreign-sourced income. And Monaco, as well as the United Arab Emirates, are both known for having no personal income tax at all, but they're not necessarily the best places to retire. The number 1 place on our list today most certainly is, though, and that is Panama, which also earned the spot as the number 1 place to retire on International Living's 2025 Global Retirement Index. Like its neighbor, Costa Rica to the north, only income earned within this country is taxed. They also have a pensionado program, which is widely considered the best retirement visa in the world because you only need to show $1,000 per month in pension income to qualify for it, unless you buy a property there. There's also no age requirement above 18, and you can get permanent residency this way. The cost of living in Panama for a single retiree ranges from $1,400 to $1,700 per month, and a couple from $2,000 to $3,000 per month. And since Panama uses the US dollar, there's no exchange rate risk, so your Social Security deposits hit your bank account at face value. Healthcare costs are also 60 to 80% lower than US prices, and Panama City has a Johns Hopkins affiliated hospital called Pacifica Salud. The downsides are real, however, such as tropical heat and humidity, a slow bureaucracy, and increasing crime rates. But Panama could be for you, however, because it really has the whole package. It has a tax-free foreign-sourced income, it has warm weather, it has friendly locals and expats alike, and it uses the US dollar. So now that you know where you can pay the lowest taxes, make sure to watch these videos next to find out the cheapest and best places to retire in the world.